Hey guys, welcome to the Leftington Post, a channel that's going to be focused on exposing the ridiculous hypocrisy and mindset of the liberal left. One of the most powerful weapons that the left has in its arsenal is gaslighting you by using buzzwords like racist, conspiracy theorist, QAnon, MAGA, and of course insert phobia here. So it's ironic to hear the left try and defend Joe Biden on this document scandal. But in true liberal fashion, the talking points have been sent out, and they are laughable at best. They all came out hard saying it's completely different to what former President Donald Trump had done in his document handling. The left has been coming after Trump since he first announced his candidacy back in 2015. First it was Russiagate, and we all know how that turned out. Then it was the phone call with Zelensky, and how's that looking now with all the corruption and the first crackhead son. Then it was the impeachment. Then it was the sequel to impeachment, which no one even talks about anymore. And for the last 5 months, all you hear from the media and the left is how former president had classified materials in his basement of his compound, surrounded by Secret Service. Meanwhile, you had a crackhead who was getting money from our adversaries, living in a house which apparently had our nation's secrets lying around like dirty laundry. But instead of calling for death, like they did to Donald Trump, most left talking heads called for calm. If any of you have watched The View on ABC recently, I feel bad that you had to go through that. And if you haven't, the good thing for you is I, your humble servant, watched it so you don't have to. Let's take a look.
You know what I think? I've never seen a luckier person than Donald Trump. Just as we're this close to getting him, but somehow these documents appear.
But here's the thing: Biden is wrong to have done this. He was in office for 40 years.
Let's find out what this is first. Now, again, one of the things that gets me crazy is before we know, it's already been spun a specific way. I don't want to see that. I want to see. Someone explain to me, A, how it's possible that after all this time, nobody knew this? Because to me, if you're missing classified information, I don't mean to laugh, but in my house, if stuff is missing, I know it's missing.
Does it feel like Oppo research to you? Does it feel like the Republicans are behind it?
It's not.
It did originally, but I'm sorry, but not now. Because one of the things he's saying is that, you know, some of the locations where the docs may have been shipped in the transition may have gotten taken and put, but still.
Let's be honest, guys. Did you actually think that these beacons of truth were going to have their moment of self-reflection and admit that they were wrong about the document scandal involving Donald Trump? Now that Joe Biden has been found doing something similar but even worse? Absolutely not. Instead, they're going to continue to provide cover and play defense for the Biden administration. Because none of this is Joe Biden's fault. It couldn't possibly be his fault. No, this must be a setup. Evil MAGAs must be behind it. I've solved it, Twatson. They had their gang of MAGA hookers seduce Hunter so they could plant the documents. This continues to be, in my opinion, the dumbest show on television. This is coming at a time when the Kardashians are on TV. I mean, the scholars they have hosting The View get to be batshit crazy and get paid for it. The leader of these brilliant thinkers, Joy Behar, sounds like a movie villain. Listen.
I've never seen a luckier person than Donald Trump. Just as we're this close to getting him, but somehow these documents appear.
But here's the thing, Biden.
Like Scooby-Doo. We almost had those meddlesome MAGAs. See, the thing, though, is that she comes out and says what the left really thinks. Get Donald Trump at all cost. I mean, this is insane reaction. Joe Biden, at the very least, committed a felony. He took classified documents and left them all over the place. As of right now, they found different sets of documents. 4 different sets. Not only that, at the time the man did this, he was vice president. And we know that only one person has the constitutional authority to declassify information. And it's not the vice president of the United States. For God's sakes, I mean, anybody who has seen this man speak or act over the past 5 years, maybe longer, knows he probably didn't steal them, like most people claim. I just watched this man sing happy birthday and fuck it up But mishandling classified information is negligent. And last time I looked, the statute doesn't say you need willful intent. That being said, do I think this will go anywhere? No, I don't. But what I do know is that you can't keep having the elites not having any consequences for their actions while punishing normal people who make mistakes. It's not just Joy Behar, though. Remember, these people are absolutely deranged. Sunny Houston is just as bad in her own way. This is a person who referred to conservative women as cockroaches because they disagree with her. She goes on to say the GOP did this and it was probably planted. It's ridiculous to even imply that this was planted, but what I've learned over the past 7 years is that the left doesn't need proof. It's almost as though if they say it enough, it will become truth. Meanwhile, there is actual evidence that the FBI and Antifa members, dressed as MAGA supporters, stoked the flames and initiated the January 6th events. Now, if you even question that you're considered Looney Tunes and an extremist, even though going back throughout the history of the United States and the FBI, they have done things like this foreign and domestically. I believe the new catchphrase by the left is threat to democracy. I am a threat to democracy for asking questions, but it's perfectly okay for you to go on national television and insinuate that there was a conspiracy to break into Joe Biden's home and plant classified information all over the place. Alone the Penn Biden Center, or whatever that thing is called, that the Chinese were donating to, considering that there were sensitive documents of national security being stored at these locations. Surely there must have been cameras and visitor logs, right? Don't worry, nothing fishy here. Remember, Joe Biden we give the benefit of the doubt to because he's not a liar and a thief like Donald Trump. Well, considering 3 recent people who have been accused of mishandling classified information, only one had the constitutional authority to declassify them. He also kept them in a locked room, suggested by the FBI, might I add, because they knew the documents were there in the basement of his compound, protected by Secret Service agents. You can stop pretending to be morally superior and stick it up your ass. I mean, these are very dishonest people, from the media to the top of the food chain. And they show their true colors in a situation like this, that they don't want to apply the same standard to someone on their own team. I will give some of the media credit, though. They have been hitting the administration recently once they realized that they could not ignore this. Now, don't get me wrong, they are still trying to downplay it, like he's some old man who put a razor in his pocket and forgot to pay for it when walked out of the store. But this isn't going away anytime soon, as much as the talking heads wish it would. These people want to jail their political opponents at any cost. I truly believe that if you asked these clowns on The View if they would give up Joe Biden to take down Donald Trump, they wouldn't even hesitate. They hate the people they disagree with so much that it consumes them. And it shows in the way they act and the way they think. The sad thing is, it's not just the media. Did you guys see Representative Hank Johnson this week as well? Take a look at this and keep in mind that this is a sitting representative in the House.
My response to it all is that alleged classified documents showing up allegedly in the possession of Joseph Biden, there's so much that needs to be investigated, and that's what I call for, is for everything to be investigated. But I'm suspicious of the timing of it. I'm also aware of the fact that things can be planted on people. Places and things can be planted, things can be planted in places and then discovered conveniently. That may be what has occurred here. I'm not ruling that out. Places and things can be planted.
And for those of you who don't know who Hank Johnson is, or need a little refresher, buckle your seatbelt.
I don't know how many square miles that is. Do you happen to know?
I don't have that figure with me, sir. I can certainly supply it to you if you'd like.
Yeah, my fear is that the whole island will become so overly populated that it will tip over and capsize.
We don't anticipate that.
The whole island will become so overly populated that it will tip over and capsize.
Yep. The man said a U.S. territory is going to tip over because there are too many people on the island. I don't know what else to say, guys. I hope I was able to make you think a little bit and hopefully form your own opinion. If you like this video, click the thumbs up, maybe subscribe a little bit, and thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.